Okay, here we are.
Hello.
We've begun.
We have.
Here
we are.
We have liftoff. You sound amazing. You look incredible.
Thank you.
What are you doing after the show?
I'm walking out my office and I'm going to come and give you a hug because you're right next door.
Boy. Well, yeah, we are here. This is the first episode of us just trying this out to see what happens and asking each other questions and we were on the eternal search of like, what is midlife? What does that all mean? You know? So overall,
you're getting ahead of the game here. You're getting ahead of the game. I want to check in. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling fine. Like I dressed in white, so I'm feeling very, very enlightened, I guess. And I hooked everything up correctly. I got the microphones going. Everything feels good. I'm feeling loose. How are you?
Excellent. I'm super excited. I feel good. I'm glad that we are finally doing this.
I know.
We're finally doing this. So yeah, I think it's important just to start with like, why do we want to do this podcast? It's been, dear listeners, viewers, this has been a year in the making. I mean, this talking about it and planning this. Yeah. And I know how I know that.
How do you know that?
Because I got a notification last week that the URL is expiring and I need to renew it.
Oh, that's right.
So yes.
We should get a move on. We've took countless walks, outside of the house here through the foothills and just talking about what it would be like to just record a conversation. We've had countless coffees and just talking about life and checking in with one another. And just a lot of times we get into deeper conversations that I want to record and re-listen to. It's like, wow, listen to that train of thought. There's a lot of wisdom to be passed and shared, especially when we, have that trust, back and forth with each other and that vulnerability to say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with, can you just hold space, So this is a lot of that happening right now. So
yeah. So why this podcast? What are we going to talk about?
I think? Well, we have notes. You made notes that we can talk about. So
no. I mean, what are we going to? Why do we want to start this podcast in general? What are we going to talk about in general?
We're going to talk about what we do. We're here. We find ourselves in midlife now. Midlife, and here we are in a relationship, and what we want more than anything is to continually discover intimacy with each other, trust, and like build love moving forward, to have adventure. And for me, that's just being completely authentic, being vulnerable, and having a good sense of humor about it too, and laughing about at this age, because so many people think, wow, we're having this crisis here at midlife and maybe my life's over. Maybe I'm too old and it's too late for me to live the life I want to live. And I find myself stuck. And I felt those things a lot of times, but with our being together, to understanding the work that we do is about helping people live a more authentic and a better life, and that it's not too late. It's my hope that we have conversations that help kind of spurn people into some form of action. But I think more than anything, it's to help them feel that it's not too late. I can reinvent myself if I want.
Yeah. And I feel like, yes, it's definitely about midlife. And I mean, just for anyone who don't know us, who I assume would be many people don't know us, we're both really passionate about how, like, all aspects of life, having an integrated, holistic sort of view of what is a good life, what feels fulfilling, and how can we personally grow to really make the most out of life and enjoy life and feel excited about the second half of life. And just for context, maybe, I don't know, Ms. Spencer, maybe we can just share in a nutshell who we are and just how we got here. I mean, I can just kick off by saying that, I have an accent. I was born and raised in Cape Town. Well, to people outside of South Africa, I have an accent, I guess. Born and raised in Cape Town, South Africa. lived in London for, with my first marriage. I moved to London for 2 years, and then, long story short, we ended up living in Chicago. And it was never a plan to necessarily stay here for this long. But I moved to Chicago in 1997, thinking that that would be just a couple of years and then move back to South Africa. But with life, the way my life unfolded, I ended up being, I have 2 kids. I was a single parent in Chicago, and then had to stay in Chicago until 2020 due to parental sort of custody, co-parenting and so on. And then we met. And that story is for maybe another day, but we met, and eventually I moved here to Boise, Idaho, where we are now. We are literally in our respective home offices in our home. If he taps on the wall, I'll hear him. Oh, there we go. I just heard you. And yeah, so we found each other in our 40. I'm 54. How old are you?
I just turned 49.
Yeah. So you have to, I'm in charge. No,
Yes.
no, I'm kidding.
So
yeah, so the two of us met each other in our 40s and into my 50s, and yeah, so we've been together for a couple of years now. But it wasn't easy we've both been through deep sort of dark places and have come out of them and with a real intention to be fulfilled and live with purpose and meaning and health and all these things, and being curious about personal growth and development. And we're just very passionate about a lot of these kinds of topics, and especially this age, because it's literally in the last 10 years, from my early 40s to now, that I've gone through a major transformation. And there's just a lot to share about that, because I love life. I really do. And I'm very excited about the future. So how about you? What's your story in a nutshell? Because we have plenty of time to get into the details.
Inspiring. We have plenty of time to get into the details. Yes, later on. But for me, again, I think it's really interesting how you were born in South Africa. I was born in a small town in California, but I mean, I grew up in a small town in Idaho when I was 1 year old, in Salmon, Idaho. And it's just, what's incredible is just like here we are all these years later. Like I was born that's about as far away as you can get from South Africa. To have us find each other, I know that there's a deeper meaning to that, and that's just really special. Just the town that I grew up in, though, it's just like it's had one stoplight, 3,000 people. I grew up ranching and rodeoing and playing football and doing those types of things, and I just felt that was just a lot. I did that. I had fun doing that, but I felt like there was just something more. And in my quest to continually seek and to try to find something that works for me, I think we ended up finding each other. I went through my foibles through previous relationships. I got to, I traveled the world. I lived in Tokyo for a couple years and lived in Europe and got to do some yoga training in India. And that's where I really started to really understand the importance of like understanding who you are at your core, your own inner wisdom. And it's now through this podcast and well, really through our relationship that I'm really putting the pieces together of what all of this means. And it's just so much fun to reflect with you and understand like, wow, there are no mistakes, and that the mistakes that we've made helped us get to where we're getting to, and that we can really turn, past pain into that purpose. And it gives a purpose to that pain. And, to where, there's more happiness to realize. And I'm just just grateful to be with you. And we've just recently gotten married. Look at right there. Yeah. And
look,
no, we just felt it was the right step for us, because for me, it was just really stepping up into professionalism, to be professional, lovers together. Everything is now legal. We're legal to be in the same room. and sleep together. So it's lovely because it's just we're stepping up. It's a greater commitment. It's a commitment to excellence, and I'm just so excited to be moving on to this next step with you. And we have a big step coming up in just God, you said just 10 weeks.
10 weeks from today,
Yeah.
in
You're gonna let
fact.
them know what's happening? Should we let them know?
Yes, I hold on just a second. I was going to say something just to reflect on the other things that you just said. But now I've just lost my train of thought, so that's okay. Yes, we are. Next step is that we are in the planning phase of, well, in the preparation phase to move to Cape Town, South Africa. And yeah, and today, 10 weeks from today, will be the first day that we actually wake up. We arrive on Wednesday, the 26th of November. So we'll wake up 10 weeks from now, first morning in Cape Town, starting a whole new chapter. My family is still there, my parents, my brothers, their partners, wives, their children. And yes, as I mentioned before, when I just shared a little bit about my story, I left to live in London in 1995, thinking that's going to be 2 years, and then back to South Africa. And then my ex-husband ended up getting a sponsorship he was sponsored by a company in Chicago, and we ended up there thinking, okay, 2 to 3 years. But that was, by 97, we moved to Chicago. And then just as life happens, roots got deeper and deeper, and we ended up getting green cards just to have the option to stay longer. And eventually, went through a divorce, and, I became a citizen of America. So I'm a dual citizen. And so life just unfolded. And then because of the divorce and kids involved, I had to stay in Chicago until 2020 legally. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to take my kids away from their dad. He's still in Chicago, remarried and very settled there. So it was just a long-term commitment to stay there and raise my kids. So there was never a moment that I consciously made a conscious choice to leave South Africa. Life just unfolded in a way that I ended up here and stayed here. And then because my kids were born and raised in the States, it was always in my mind. I figured, well, they're the closest family that I have, and I guess my life is just going to be in America. But we went back to Cape Town. It was Spencer's first visit in March of this year, 2025, for my mom's 80th birthday. And it was, as always, I've traveled back over the years to see my family every 2 to 3 years, and it's always lovely to see them, and it's always a little bit heartbreaking to leave. But then I also had this life in the States to come back to with my kiddos. But yeah, I missed out on a lot. I didn't. My older brother, his kids are, I think, 20. Probably 27 and 17 now, and I didn't see them growing up. I wasn't part of their lives growing up. And my other brother got married a little later in life, so he has a 6 and a 2-year-old, and just being around those little girls, and it's so amazing. And it's always a bit painful to realize that I'm missing out on so much. My parents are getting older. It's been 30 years since I've lived there. And when we went in March, Spencer, first of all, just loved Cape Town. I mean, what's not to love? And then he was the one to say, like, why don't we live here? My family's there. I've made a huge sacrifice to be away from them for so many years. And and I'm like, it's not a thought that I really ever entertained. But then we started talking about it and going deep into it. And there was really no reason to not do it and take hold of this opportunity and go on this adventure. And it feels like a big, bold move, but we are ready for it. We're excited. It's it feels like a big adventure. And I just cannot wait to be there, be with my people, be with my nephew and nieces, and be more immersed into their lives again, and seeing my brothers. It really lights me up. So yeah.
Yeah.
What are
Absolutely.
your
So
thoughts on
exciting.
that whole,
Well,
your
I mean, the
perspective?
biggest pull for me, besides the land it's beautiful. It's so mountainous. I mean, being by the ocean, there's something about being at that ocean to where it just, I felt, my nervous system just relaxed. and understanding it was a vacation. And I'm not saying that there's not going to be any hard times ever moving there, of course. But just being surrounded by such beauty, and that's definite inspiration. Like I love it. Like we have the opportunity to do that, but we all have an opportunity to make our choices and live with those. And I just, what really helped me fall in love with the place was, the area, the beauty of the ocean and the mountains, and the people were so warm that besides the weather being amazing, but it was your family too, and having an opportunity to cultivate a greater relationship with your brothers and with those kiddos, with my nieces and me and my nephews, but I get to be the favorite uncle of all of them, I guess. I don't know. But
Yes.
I want to be able to soak up those feelings of family, and it's something I've been missing on, and for a long time, and to have that type of that warm welcome and that feeling of acceptance is something I want to experience more of, and I want to be able to be with you in your hometown. You've been away for such a long time, since the 90s. I mean, Friends was on the air. I still on like
That was the
1997,
first
right?
round of Friends.
Right.
Yes.
And there's a story there. You ran into the Friends there, the
Yes.
cast of Friends, when you're working at the Gap
In
in
London.
London. So
Yeah.
we were there for them
But
back
yeah, I
when.
just want to,
But
yeah, sorry.
oh,
Can I
sorry.
interrupt you just for a second? Because you talked about being the favorite uncle. I just want to give context for that
Oh,
statement because it's so cute.
right.
So as I said, Spencer went to visit with me and went to Cape Town with me for the first time in March. And my brother has a 6 and a 2-year-old little girls. And I don't know if it's the moustache or the fact that you were able to swing them on a swing very, very, very high. But
Yeah.
they claimed now that Spencer is their favorite uncle. So
It's a lot of
they keep
pressure.
talking about their favorite uncle. So it's become
Yeah.
a bit of a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the
Yeah.
favorite. Sorry, everyone else, but it's a lot to live up to, but I'm happy to go there and spend more time with them and get to know them, and and continue to talk to people and have an opportunity to meet new people and make new friends and cultivate community wherever we're at. And it's an amazing adventure. It's a challenge, and there's going to be tough times, and but we're going to learn a lot from that. There's going to be amazing times together too. And with you and I going together, I have complete faith, in that we're going to be great. We're going to be good. And we want to spread that message and be and kind of live that example. Here we are at midlife. We're making big moves when most people want to save, and not saying that's a bad thing at all, and just kind of stay where you're at. We want to continually grow, and that means we got to go through some tougher decisions, some big decisions, and live through those and learn from them. And I can't wait. Yeah.
You know what? I was just thinking maybe we should explain a little bit what we do individually.
Yeah.
Again, just because we both are entrepreneurs, we both have our own businesses, which is part of what makes this possible. We're not locked into corporate jobs anymore, and we'll definitely get into maybe a future episode talk about that journey, because that's how we met. We met through work, remote positions. I was living in Chicago at the time, and Spencer was in Boise. And for 5 years, we were just colleagues and co-workers and friends. And, but we both knew that deep down that this corporate career it didn't feel aligned for either of us. And we took, again, I think that was before even talking about moving to Cape Town, the big bold step for both of us were to quit those jobs and to burn the boats, as they say.
Burn the boats.
And to really go full in on our on our own endeavors and businesses. So what are you passionate about, Spencer, in terms of what you do and how you help people?
Yeah, I'm passionate about continued growth, and really passionate about working with men, especially at this age in midlife, in helping them discover health and happiness. And those are two things that go together like peanut butter and jelly, like chocolate and hazelnut, right? You've been watching a lot of British baking show. So those are the things that I'm passionate about, because when I'm, guiding a man through this, I learn a lot through their story. So it's not like I benefit from doing this work too. It feels good for me. I feel a purpose in doing this. So it's not just for the people I serve. It is, but it's also helping me along too. I feel it's just a beautiful way to just kind of continue my growth and being with men as they continue to grow and see themselves as significant. There's been a big struggle in my life to where I felt really hollow, and even though I thought maybe I was always much bigger. I went through the fat phases, skinny phases, these ups and downs, and with it my emotions were up and down. And I really thought that my self-worth was tied to my like waist size. And I thought if I can just get myself skinnier or lose weight or even have six-pack abs, I'll be happy, even though I'm rationally not saying that. It's just like this unconscious thought. And once I've arrived there, even just, as of earlier this year, really getting lean, there were times where I just was downright just not feeling good, not happy. And so I just began to understand and get really curious about, well, this isn't it. Like, what is underneath these things? What is underneath, what's really driving my happiness? And it's really understanding growth. And that's what I'm looking into, is like, what is it that truly makes us happy? Is really looking into our meaning, what that is, having love with someone, experiencing that love, and wealth in all areas, whether that's, financial, whether that's emotional, or with your relationships. So there's just so much to discover, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to make these discoveries. So that's why I do what I do, what I do.
And you're coaching men to do the same.
Yeah. So I'm coaching, consulting, and men they find themselves, they're stuck. They don't have a clear idea who they are on the inside. So what I do is I help these men do a renovation, essentially, from the inside and out. And we take a look at a man's self-image and really change the program. And from it's an inside-out transformation. A lot of times it's this outside-in thinking, well, if I have this diet plan, if I get the six-pack abs, if I get the perfect mate, then I'll be happy. And the thing is, we'll never get there until we really have that for ourselves. And then those things become attracted to us. So it's an inside-out renovation is what I'm doing with guys. So, yeah. Now, Adele, what is it that you do? Please indulge.
Yeah, and this is why we have so much to talk about. I am a trauma-trained somatic practitioner. So started out as a health coach, but really became passionate about trauma and trauma healing, and specifically a somatic approach, meaning a body-based approach, looking at the nervous system and the role it plays in all these patterns that we get stuck in, whether it's heightened emotions or reactivity or behaviors that we sort of just are undesired and we don't know how to get out of them, or relationship issues, a lot of relationship dynamics that can be very challenging. There's our body, our nervous system is behind. Well, my point of view and belief is, now that I understand the science of it and have studied it for the last 5 years, is at the foundation of everything that we feel and do and think is the state of our nervous system. So I support women in midlife to really get in touch with this operating system inside of us, to be able to feel more in control, understand it, and then also know how we can regulate our nervous system when we are activated. And from there, start making changes, maybe, whether it's in terms of relationships. A lot of the women that I tend to coach are in their midlife, often going through relational sort of shifts, whether it's divorce or finding love after divorce, or having been married or in a partnership for a long time and feeling stagnant and unfulfilled and maybe just very disconnected from themselves and their partners. That's a big theme. Body image, especially again in midlife, it can become very confusing when hormonal changes start happening and we feel everything is out of control. And it doesn't help that we keep getting bombarded with messages of doom and gloom and how we're just falling apart and, we're going to become invisible and we're going to break our bones and it's just going to be miserable and we're going to get fat. That's a lot of the messaging. And I just feel like, I became passionate about this work because of the work that I did within myself. Like I said, both of us, our careers as coaches started as in the health and wellness field, which we're still passionate about. We both, I think, we're very aligned in enjoying healthy habits. They're just the general healthy habits, but we both know and understand from living through this that a lot has to happen on the inside to be able to really find that groove of the healthy lifestyle becoming almost secondary to the shifts that happen and the healing that happen on the inside. And that's why we have so many deep conversations. And that's, again, why we want to do this podcast, because we tend to have these deep conversations about it. We feel very passionate about it. And I love supporting women in this phase of life specifically to feel more empowered and confident and hopeful and energized and excited about the second half of life, and again, starting with understanding what a huge role your nervous system plays in your life, and how you experience life, how you perceive yourself, how you perceive others, how you perceive the world. And being able to come into a place where you feel, I'm capable, there's a lot of possibility, there's a lot of potential. It's definitely not a downhill ride from this moment forward. And I can speak for myself that at 54, I feel more calm, more at ease, more fulfilled, more on my purpose, more energized, stronger. So many things. I mean, so if it's available to me, it's available to others, and I just want to pass that on and inspire women to have hope, but also getting to a place in their bodies that they can actually access that feeling of ease and hope and excitement for the second half of life. Because it's like we said at the beginning, it's not too late. It's not too late. Never, ever is it too late. Yeah. So we both. That's my business is working with women, and I don't only work with women in midlife. I do work with men and young. I mean, my clients right now range from 21 to 83, men and women. So again, coaching someone or working with someone who's 83 and waking up to her potential and breaking relational patterns at her age, what an inspiration, right? For someone who's not ever giving up and still working on herself. I really commend her for coming and seeking, like, just being curious about her own growth and being finally tired, waking up to the fact I am tired of attracting the same kinds of people into my life, and realizing that she's ready to take ownership of that and working on that. So it's never too late. And I'm just excited to pass that on and to help as many women as I can to really find. I mean, life is so good when we feel at ease and we find that sort of sense of meaning and where energy is available, and that sense of I do have agency is available.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's just to continually pass on the goodwill to others and empower people and support them in their changes. Some people aren't even awake yet. Some don't really want to wake up to that as well. But there's people that are awake and they understand there's something not quite right. Like, and with the barrage of different distractions out there and content, it's hard to know, what to anchor yourself to. And we always want to come through as very authentic and humble ourselves. It's like I know I can speak from my own experience that I don't come from a place of perfection. I come from a place of consistently screwing up often, going through many different phases but in speaking with you and understanding shadow work and nervous system regulation and just having compassion for myself, and instead of just denying these parts of my past, because all that begins to bubble up to the surface. And it wasn't until I can look at those parts when I was bad or I screwed up, but it's just, I did the best I could back then, and continuing to have compassion for myself then. And then when I can accept all parts of me, and as I'm learning to accept all parts of me, life is really enriched. It just becomes, it just gets better, and you can feel deeper. I feel deeper love for myself and acceptance. And that's where I want to speak from. Is like, I'm not perfect at all. I accept all the times that I screwed up, but I'm learning from those, continuing to
Yeah.
do so. And we
Yeah.
want to make it known that you come here, you're working on your things, but I want people to feel safe, and knowing that we don't come from a place here for perfection, and we're not trying to be perfect, and don't expect the same out of you. We just want to be with you in your journey, and share and have some laughs and share some wisdom. And this is what we've learned. And I look forward to the comments and here on our show, and the people that will continually help us understand what their lives are like too, because
Yeah.
we don't want to speak from speak in an echo chamber or
Pedestal.
something, or any sort of pedestal, or
Yeah.
speaking into the void. We want feedback. That's what helps us grow
Yeah.
too. We're continually growing, and so we want your feedback as well of what's helpful. What is it? What topics do you want to talk about too? And
Exactly.
it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And
that's where we're at.
absolutely, yes. Please comment. Like, give us comments. We'd love to build a community here where we can interact with you and hear what's on your mind, where you stuck, what you're struggling with, what you want us to talk about. And again, just to echo what Spencer just said in wrapping up this first episode of this podcast, is we want to what you can expect from moving forward is we are experts in our field, and we're growing as experts in our field. So there will be moments of maybe covering certain topics from what we know, but we come here as humans who are also in the trenches doing the work. We've discovered each other, like I said, in our midlife. We have relational trauma in both our histories, which bring up a lot of stuff, especially in romantic partnerships. And we will share how we navigate through this relationship as we grow closer together, as we navigate this big move, as we navigate day-to-day life. We want to come and share the realness of it, and also how we apply what we know to our own lives to hopefully inspire you to maybe get some ideas to support others, other people in midlife as they navigate. And it's not just going to be relational. It could be health and wellness. It could be being entrepreneurs. It could be anything. I mean, we really want to touch on all areas of life, and bring it to you from a combination of what we've learned, what we know, and also how we navigate challenges as we do this day-to-day thing. And we just got married almost exactly a month ago, August 16th. And because we feel like this is we feel blessed to be able to start this relationship now in this age, at this phase of life, because we have learned so much. Yes, we still are learning a lot. And this is a container for us to actually put to work, into practice what we know, and where we can grow and so on. And what I wanted to say is that we're very intentional about building a healthy, strong relationship, loving relationship, and because that makes life so much more fun and beautiful. So I want everybody to know that is our intention with this relationship, because we are lucky enough to be in this place that we're coming into it with intention, and we'll share how we navigate that.
Yeah,
So,
I love it. Beautifully put. There's not too much more I want to add to that, other than the fact is that, I love you, and I feel good. I knew that I would. Anyway, this is James Brown line. Anyway,
you were supposed to sing it, not just say it.
I feel nice, like sugar and spice.
Yeah.
This conjures a good feeling to have you in my life, so I can practice love. Love is a practice, it's not something that's just some feeling that you get every now and again. And it takes work, and there's tough love and challenging love, but it's love all the same. And to get to have a loving practice with you helps me feel like purposeful in just our own love, and to continually share that with others so that they can contribute. Because when you can contribute something of value to another, ask yourself, how do you feel when you contribute something meaningful to another person? It makes you feel pretty good.
Yeah.
So come here to fill your cup and then empty it with others out there. And that's our hope.
And speaking about cups, we also coffee snobs. So you might hear us talk about coffee here and there.
We're going to be doing a lot of shows in coffee shops, I can imagine us in the future, because they have the most amazing coffee in Cape Town. So
yeah,
that's what I see.
All right.
Hey, episode 1.
Cheers, my love.
Cheers to you, darling.
And we'll be back every week is the goal. So
you know what I noticed? Hold up your mug.
Look at us, yin and yang, black and white.
Yeah, like I don't know if we even meant that to happen.
This is all wasn't planned.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
I love you. Thank you so much.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. All right. Thank you all, everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode.